だから今打ち破るのさそう明日を塞ぐ思いと全力で自分使い尽くせ研ぎ澄まされた心で一撃で突き破る
What is going on, everybody? It's Refle here, and I'm back and better than ever. No, not really, but I'm back with another anime review and discussions because there's a whole bunch of anime I want to review from fall 2015. And right now it's 2016, so we're on to the new year. And I'm sure by the time, well, of course, by the time I upload this, it'll probably be my second review of 2016. But yeah, so we're gonna move on to another one of the highlights from fall 2015, and it is kind of a surprise. I did not expect this anime to be as good as it was, and it was Chivalry of a Failed Knight, and in Japanese it's Rakudai Kishi no Kayuburi. But yeah, so this anime is based off a light novel of a very similar name, and it has a lot of similarities to another fall 2015 anime, The Asterisk War. Like, the first episodes of those two are very, very, very similar. But I watched this first before The Asterisk War. But yeah, so the show centers around Ikki Kurogane, who's the main protagonist, and he is a F-rank blazer, and a blazer, I mean, I've had these in anime before, like a blazer kind of thing, is, they're just, I guess basically, they're like people with special powers, and they're at these schools, and blazers are just weapons and stuff they have, so pretty much all of them are swords for the most part, but there are like bows and maces and knives and other weapons as well. But he is F rank, which means he's the worst of the worst, and he has a nickname called Worst One, which is sort of, I think it's a translation error, but I could be wrong because it doesn't sound right, especially when I chant it sometimes. But yeah, so he is considered the worst one in school because he doesn't really have any powers with his blazer, while other students have like the ability to control fire and water and other stuff. He's just a really good swordsman, and he is a really good swordsman. And in the first episode, he meets Stella Vermilion, who is an A rank blazer, and I believe that's the top you can be. There might be an S rank, but they haven't encountered any of those in the show. She is an S or A rank blazer, so she is considered the best of the best. And she's from another country or something, because it takes place in Japan. And she's like the princess or something, the second princess. It says on this wiki, the second princess of the Vermilion Kingdom. So she goes over to Japan to, I guess, test her skills. And she meets Ikki Kurogane in a rather interesting scenario, which I won't spoil. But they get in a fight, and in the first episode, they actually fight each other, Ikki and Stella, and Ikki wins. So the F rank blazer beats the A rank blazer in the first episode. And that's kind of how things get going from there on out. There's also a few other characters which I'll just quickly touch on. There's Shizuku Kurogane, who is the sister of Ikki, and she comes in, I think, episode 2 or 3. And she has a weird relationship with Ikki, and I won't spoil what happens, but it's kind of weird. But it sort of makes sense, but it's still kind of weird. There is Nagi Arasun, who goes by Alice, and he's a weird character. I don't really know, like, we don't touch on him too much, but he's an interesting character to keep an eye on, because he likes to be considered like a big sister, even though he is a he. It's weird. He's just very mysterious, and he knows a lot of stuff. But there's also a few other characters which you'll just know by watching the show, but those are kind of the main 4. But kind of Ikki Kurogane, I'll just go by Ikki from here on out. Now, I don't love his name, but that's another story. Ikki was part of the Kurogane family, who is very well known for their skills. But since he didn't have really any skill as a blazer, they basically like treated him like shit, and he was basically just like just put in his own like room, or not really like put in his own room, but they just kept him away from the family because they thought he was a disgrace. And so he goes out to prove that he can be the best of the best. And that's kind of like the main plot, really. There's the 7-Star Sword Art Festival. That's what it says right here. That is kind of the main focus of the show, and it's just basically a competition that they're trying to get into, and in order to do that, you have to win all your matches before that. So that's the whole season is all the fights before the 7-Star Sword Art Festival. And so Ikki, along with a few other characters, go through just the challenges of trying to beat these other characters, and yeah. Now, the show definitely sets itself up as a kind of like fantasy action, like harem, but it does something within like episode 4 or 5 that definitely just dismisses the harem part. There's no harem in the show at all, and the show, for some reason, there's a lot of these kind of like action fantasy romance anime with a lot of like harem stuff going on, like in the fall 2015 and just throughout this year that I've watched, and a lot of them have been solid, but a lot of them stick to the same thing, and this one goes against the grain on a lot of things that typically you don't see in this type of anime. And I definitely like it. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it does tend to work out. And I just kind of give it like a thumbs up on at least trying to go against the grain. And maybe it doesn't go against the grain, maybe it's just me thinking it does, but I feel like it does stuff that other anime in the same genre don't do, because it just changes what you usually see in these types of shows. So some of like really good things about the show is I love the opening. It has a great song in it, and you heard it at the beginning. I don't know why I really like it. It's very well. I'm forgetting what you call it. It has great animation. It's really stylized, and it just gets you pumped. It's probably my favorite opening of fall 2015. I just really, really like it for some reason. I don't know. It's cool. And this when they do fight, like some of the fights are disappointing, but when you get to like some kind of like major fight with Icky and every character, and there's a few others that don't involve Icky that are really good. Like it usually ends up being really like well animated, and entertaining, and just really well done. Like, and there's a lot of cool moments in those fights, and it's probably behind One Punch Man is definitely the best. Like, if you're looking for some cool action scenes, I'd go with this show for sure. Because there's some great fights in it. Yeah, it just has some really good characters that stand out from the usual characters you see in this genre. Icky, he at first seems like just way too nice of a guy. And I kind of disliked him a bit at the beginning, but I kind of turned around on him, and I really started to like him as a character. Because there's some scenes later on in the season that are very, very cool, and he does some awesome stuff in fights and make him a pretty cool character, and I like him. And Stella's a very interesting character, as well, and also Icky's sister, Shizuku. I like her as well. They're all very interesting, and there's a bunch of other like side characters that are also well done. Like it has some solid characters. Yeah, so the fighting is good. Great opening. The characters are, I feel like, pretty good for this type of show. But yeah, later on in the season, like, as far as like just trying to like, I'm trying to figure out the right word for this. As far as like having pressure on you, if that's the right word I'm trying to say. Well, I guess like later on in the season, like Icky is put in a situation where he's basically like has to fight against the world. Like he has so much against him, and it's not like a you gotta save the world and everything's against you kind of situation. It's like it's much different than that, but it's on the same like it's different. It's not on the same scale, I guess I should say, but it's very similar to that, and that like he has everything is going against him. He has been in a situation where he's just absolutely meant to fail, and he basically just goes through hell in order to do this one thing, and yeah, he has to fight against a lot of things, and it's within the last 2 or 3 episodes, and it's really well done, and some pretty cool how much he has to kind of go against and struggle through in order to succeed. But yeah, just some really great moments. I love how the show can be very stylized at times. There's some great fights, like I said, and it's one of the best anime from fall 2015 for sure. I would probably say I'd give us like a 8. Like it's somewhere in between an 8.5 and 8.75. Like it's in between that. I can't give it an 8.5 because I feel like it's better than that. But I can't give it 8.75 because I think of other anime I've given that score. I'm like, it's not, it's almost to that level, but not really. If I had to lean towards one, it'd probably be an 8.75. So it's the second, it's my second favorite anime from fall 2015. Just edges out Sakurako's investigation. But it's just really entertaining to watch, and there's some good moments. There's a few episodes that are just kind of like blah, but when you get to those like intense, like there's a fight coming up episode, it's really really good. And there's some awesome moments. And they set it up for season 2. I hope they do a season 2, but a lot of these anime never get their second season. So, but I think it's been popular enough that it should get a second season, because it definitely sets up for a second season. As they don't even get to the actual festival until the very last episode, and they all, then it just begin. It basically just begins once the season ends. I don't know, but it was a really good season, and I'd highly recommend watching if you kind of like these action fantasy shows with a little bit of romance. But yeah, it does a few things that are different than these types of shows in the same genre, and I give it a little applaud for that. But anyways, I want to thank you all for watching. If you have any anime you want me to watch or check out, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are about Chivalry of a Failed Knight. I might be the minority on how high I rate this anime, but maybe I'm not. I haven't really paid too close attention to other people's thoughts on it, but I really liked it. But next time, I will probably review another fall 2015 anime. It's either going to be that or my top 10 from 2015. It depends on when I edit this stuff a lot of the time. But anyways, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.